Welcome to Frank Teaches DevOps. All right, welcome, my lovely viewers. Welcome. Um, in today's video, we will be talking about Ansible models. Ansible models. In our previous videos, we've talked about um, getting started with Ansible, and we also talked about Ansible inventory. And in today, we will be talking about Ansible models. And I'll oblige you. If you've not watched the first video, the second video, I seriously recommend that you go and watch those two videos in that sequence so that you will get along with this Ansible A to Z video series, right? So we are taking it bit by bit, and today we will be talking about Ansible models. What is Ansible models? All right. So before I go into the definition of what Ansible model is, on a higher note, I I want to talk about Ansible models as packages, as units, all right, as bits that Ansible is being built around. So Ansible is heavily built around models. Models are like libraries. They're like plugins, right? That Ansible uses to interact with the target machine, right? Ansible uses models to interact with target machines, all right? They use models in form of library, in form of plugins to connect, to interact with the target machines, right? So now let's look at what Ansible models is. So Ansible models are units of code that can control system resources or execute system commands. So when we say unit of code, don't get afraid, because they are plugin, and those plugins um, they have embedded codes in them. All right, the algorithm, the algorithm is what that is the algorithm in them is what is actually executing, doing the task on the remote machine. All right, so we're going to see different kinds of models. All right, list of models. We're going to see how big the Ansible models index is. All right. So now that brings us to a documentation called docs.ansible.com. So if we get to read, if we want to read more about Ansible model, which we are going to look at, so get a proper first hand, right? Is at docs.ansible.com. Ansible have made it such a way that their documentation is easy to follow, very easy and straightforward. All right, they make it so simple and elaborate. Okay, so if there are two ways, we could actually go through the terminal. All right, so there's a command called Ansible doc dash L. So this dash L is going to list all of the collections. We call it collections, Ansible models collections. It could be model index or model collection, right? It could be collections, or we call it models index or collection index, either of it. So to check these on the terminal, you use Ansible doc dash L. We will be using the Ansible doc command a lot, because it's going to lead us to it's going to open a lot of avenue for us to get to learning Ansible properly. All right. So if I open this, you see I'm going to get a whole lot of, all right, models, a whole lot of which it wouldn't look so nice scrolling through them on the terminal. All right, so this same thing we have here, I'm going to hit on this URL docs.ansible.com. So let's go there. Let me close. Let's go there. So docs.ansible.com. So docs.ansible.com takes us to Ansible documentation. All right. So on document Ansible documentation, we have the Ansible community, Ansible ecosystem, Ansible collections. So from as what you see from my diagram, all right, after talking about Ansible models and what Ansible model is, we go on our web browser and we hit on docs.ansible.com. All right. After hitting on this guy, we get Ansible collection docs. So yeah, let me close this guy, please. We have Ansible collection docs. So this is it. So I'll click on this guy, which is a Ansible collection extend the benefit of simple, powerful, agentless automation. So click on the Ansible collections. All right. So we have Ansible collection documentation. So after that, we here. All right. So the next is Ansible collection index. So let's go back there. So Ansible collections index. So this is where we're going to. So it has there are all that diverse collections, collections for networking, collections for virtualization and containerization. Right. So in later part of the course, we would see how we can integrate Ansible with Kubernetes, so that we would be able to deploy our workload from Ansible to Kubernetes. That will be very, very interesting, guys. It will be very, very interesting. But for now, let's look at what we have in our collection index. So click on Ansible collections index. So we have a lot. So if you check on here's a collection index, we have a lot. We have collection index for Amazon, AWS. So if I need to build infrastructure to AWS, I'm going to use this collection. We also have for Azure, we have Azure collection. We have Cisco. We have so many. We have so many models. So many models. Juniper networks. Kubernetes. You can see Kubernetes here, right? So if you need to build a Kubernetes cluster, you make use of that model. A lot of models are here, all right? A lot. So let's go back to the top. Let's go back. Yeah. So let's go back to our whiteboard. So this is the collection of models. So on this collection models, we have so many. We have Amazon.aws, Ansible.builtin, Ansible.netcom, Ansible.posix, etc., etc. But we are just only concerned, for now, we are just only concerned with Ansible.built-in models. So in Ansible.built-in models, we are going to see a lot. You're going to see some fundamental models we can play around with. All right, we can play around with. So let's go back to our collection. So now collections, if I click Ansible.built-in, I've just clicked Ansible.built-in. So let me scroll. So we have so many models. You can see plugin indexed, right? Models, all right? Models. So we have host and the model name and their respective definition, their description, all right? We have apt model. So apt model, as you all know, apt is a package manager on Ubuntu. So if I need to install packages on Ubuntu target machines, I'm going to use this model, apt. All right, apt key, app repository, async, command, copy, cron. There are lots, a lot. Fetch, file. Oh, sorry, guys. Fetch. I need to fetch files from a remote machine, file mode, find, gather facts, get URL. There are so many package, IP tables, ping. We've used this ping. We've used this ping, which you've seen. All right. PIP module. If I need to install some Python libraries. All right. Managing Python library dependencies, reboot if I need to reboot a target machine, script if I need to run a script on a if I need to not run a local script on a remote machine. I use the script model, shell, setup, system D, a lot of all these models. And we're going to see these models when we look, we're going to see how to implement these models in detail when we shall get into our next topic, which is on ad hoc, ad hoc commands. So on ad hoc commands, we will have the the leverage, all right, to start testing out these models one after the other. All right, one after the other. So let's go back to our whiteboard. So on our board, we have, which I have expanded, Ansible.built-in. So on Ansible.built-in, we have these models, right? I've categorized these models for rebooting servers, modules for managing files, modules for managing packages, modules for managing users and groups, modules for managing services. So services, I'm talking about system D, all right? Modules for gathering facts. All right. So rebooting is reboot. Reboot is that's the model name. So if I come back here, let's check for if I will see that reboot MNOP. Can you see? This is the reboot model. Reboot model. So let's see how it's been implemented. If I open a new tab, let's see. This is let's go to the example. So this is the example. Though they have used they have used a YAML setting for it. All right, this is not ad hoc. This is playbook. This is what you write in your playbook. All right, this is what you write in your playbook. The same thing we have on the portal is the same thing we would have in our Ansible doc on the terminal. So if I say Ansible dash doc followed by the module name, so the module name is reboot. So it's going to give me document about that model with followed on examples. So let's go down. Let's go down. You see examples on how to um, implement the reboot module. So this is it. If you look side by side, these things they look similar. All right. Name from this first one, they look similar, and this second one, they look similar. The third one, they look similar. The fourth, they look similar. You see? So this is how you get help with any module. So that was reboot module, rebooting module to reboot the machine. Okay, to reboot the machine. I wouldn't want to do that because I have Ansible all dash I 10.0.14.60. Let me ping this guy. So pinging as well is one form of module. All right. So this machine is actually up, which is what I have here. So that's this machine. So if I check the IP ifconfig, sorry. So now net tools that controls ifconfig is not installed on this Ubuntu machine. So what I would do is just simple. Um, I wouldn't want to go much into much into other commands, but I just want to show us a glimpse of what is yet to come. What is yet to come. So the module I'm going to use here, I'm going to use an apt module. This is because the target machine is an Ubuntu machine, and an Ubuntu machine uses apt as its packet package manager. All right. So on this machine, I'm using this module called apt, which we saw here. which we saw here. Yes, apt, right? The apt module, it manages apt packages. Okay, great. So I have tried searching, I need to query the IP address of this machine. And to query the IP address, I need to use ifconfig, but ifconfig is not installed on this machine. So I want to install it remotely via what? Via, this is ad hoc now. Now, the module is apt. Then the argument, you have to use the flag A to specify the argument. The name of the package is called net-tools. And the state is installed. All right. So I want the state to be what? Installed. So let's check. Before I go further, let's check a document on apt, how it's being used. So I'll say Ansible dash doc space the module name, which is apt. So let's check. Let's go to examples directly. Let's go to examples directly. Let's go to examples directly. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Take some time to see examples. Um, take a whole lot. Oh, it's coming up. We are close. Okay, great. Now, okay, the state they use is present. All right. Okay. All right. Great. Okay, let me check. Um, installed. All right, state present. Now let's recall that command. Ansible, Ansible what? All dash I 10.0 dot 14.60. The model is what? apt. The argument is, name of the package is called net tools, and the state should be what? Present. Let's see. So once I run this and I hit enter, what's it saying? Okay, okay. Now it's asking for the root permission. All right, because to install a package on on a Linux server, you actually need a root access, a root right. All right, to run to install a package. So I'm having a permission denying error. All right. So for that, there is another flag which is called become. So become is used, I would say dash B. So dash B will tell Ansible that this user who is trying to run this command is using sudo access, is using the root access to run this installation. So I'm trying to install NetTools on a remote machine. So I need to use dash B. Dash B means use the root privilege. Use the root privilege to install package on the target machine. So if I use that dash B and hit enter, let's see the response. Let's see the response. Let's see the response. It takes some time. Let's see the response because it has to also do what we call apt update. But let's see. Let's see. Let me pause, and once it's ready, I should be right back. Okay, great. You can see now. Let's see what it has done so far. You can see it was actually going through a whole process of updating the package repository. All right. So this is, I'm just showing you what is to come. What is to come in ad hoc commands. All right. What is to come in ad hoc commands. Okay. Because I can't treat models without showing you a glimpse of ad hoc commands. All right, and we can't treat playbook without talking about in detail about ad hoc commands. All right, so these guys, they are dependent on each other. So why it took so much time? It was doing some updates. All right, it was doing some updates, and installation was successful. Look at unpackaging net tools, it was successful. So now let's go on the target machine and let's check if I have config. You can see I now have ifconfig, I'm now able to check my IP address, right? So my IP address is 10.0.14.60. So this is how we do these things, right? This is how, using the package manager for Ubuntu, which is apt, the model, we were able to remotely install a package on the remote system. Okay, so this is how models they behave. All right, so we have models for, like I said, managing files. So in managing files, there are diverse ways. All right, you can actually copy a file. There's also a model for copy. There is a model for files. So for file is responsible for creating an ordinary file as well as creating a directory. All right, creating a directory. We will get to see all of these we will get to see all of these in their raw form when we start talking about ad hoc, Ansible ad hoc commands. Ansible ad hoc commands. We've just seen a glimpse of how to install a package on a target machine, all right? On a target machine with model which will model side by side the other command. This video is not about other command, but I need to show us how you could use model with other commands. All right. So in our next video, we will be talking in detail about other commands. Then you will appreciate this other video that talks about models. Right. So I can actually let me just wrap it up with gathering some facts. All right. So there's okay, let me just wrap it up. Let's do something very nice. So I will just say Ansible all dash I 10.0 dot 14 dot 60. Okay, dash. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a file model. All right, pass my argument. So in the file model, I really want to create a directory, and the destination to that directory would be destination forward slash. Let me say I want to create a directory on home slash Ubuntu, and let me call that directory. Let me call it new dir, and the state is a directory. The state of this guy is a directory. So far, if I go to pwd slash home slash Ubuntu, I don't have anything called new directory. But the moment I do this, let's see what happens. It's going to tell me that this guy was created. Let's check. Let's check. You can see, and I have a new directory called what? New directory. I can as well create an empty file using another state called touch. So in Linux, touch is a command that is used to create a file of 0 bytes. All right, a file of 0 bytes. So I want to create a file in Ubuntu. So I could say file 1, 2, 3. So this will definitely create me file 1, file 2, and file 3. Let's see if this will work. I didn't get that. I didn't get that properly. All right, so let's check. Let's check. Okay, it didn't give me that. Okay. Ordinarily, if I'm to run this in the terminal, I should have file 1, file 2, file 3. Just say, let me just try that out. Let me try state is touch. So we could use touch to create a file. All right, to create a file. So this is all about models. The main engine, the main control that is doing all of these is this guy called models. Right? Is the model. This module file is responsible for dealing with file, creating of empty files, and creating of directories. All right. So if I need to copy a file from my local machine to the destination machine, I'm going to use another module called copy. So there are lots of modules. There are a lot of modules in Ansible. So I'm being tempted, all right. I'm being tempted to delve into other commands, but I wouldn't want to do it. I just want to keep this video simple, centered around modules, because we are talking about Ansible modules. Okay, Ansible modules. So in our next video, I will be talking in detail about Ansible ad hoc commands. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and let's just show us. I don't need to show us any other further, because if I do anything further, I'm still doing Ansible ad hoc commands, which I still need to show us in our next video. So I'll just keep it simple. This is just a glimpse of what is yet to come. And I thank you all for your patience. I thank you for your support. And I thank you for how you have been supporting us on our channel. And I also encourage you all to try and like our channel, subscribe, tell your friends. Tell your friends what we are doing, the good work we are doing, and share our channel amongst your friends. Thank you, and see you in our next episode. Thank you, and have a lovely evening.